I've had a couple of people ask me what it's like to have depression. A lot of people don't seem to understand that it's more than just depression, at least in my case. I have depression and pretty bad anxiety. Some people say, oh, what's the difference? They are very intertwined, but sometimes one stems from the other. But in every case, it's worse to have both. Because with anxiety, you care about everything. But with depression, you care about nothing. So, to care about everything but not care enough to do anything about it is actually very frustrating. I take my room, for example, right now. My room is a mess. It drives me absolutely up the wall. I know that I need to do laundry. I took care of the garbage earlier. The dishes are out, but my floor, you can't see it. You can't see my dressers, my nightstand, my table, my vanity. You can't see anything. It's a mess. And that bothers me. But I don't have the energy to do anything about it, so I'm not going to. And that's what's very frustrating about having both depression and anxiety. Things that bother you, they don't seem to bother you enough, but at the same time they drive you insane. So it's always made people think that I'm lazy or a slob. Really, I'm not. I have no interest in cleaning my room. As much as it drives me nuts, I can't seem to find the energy to do anything about it. Just like I don't have the energy to go out and make friends. Of course, I also don't have the skills to go out and make friends. And that stems from anxiety as well as my depression. Because I have that insecurity. I have that social awkwardness. Growing up, I was very secluded. My own family, for lack of a better word, neglected me. I have an older brother, and he was always the one who was praised, more or less. Oh, he can do no wrong, he's the best, he gets everything he wants. I get all the hand-me-downs, I get mostly ignored, pushed aside, nobody cares. At least that's how it felt. I mean, I don't know that that's the case 100%. I just know that that's how it felt to me growing up. Everybody cared about my brother, and I was just kind of pushed aside. Everybody would always invite my brother to tag along. My brother would get to spend weekends at my grandma's, and I barely ever got to see my grandma. So that was kind of when I first started wondering, well, why does he always get to go to grandma's, but I don't? What's the point here? Or, my cousins would always be like, oh, hey, they'd talk to him and be like, oh, yeah. And then they'd be like, oh, hi, to me. And I was like, okay. I had hoped that getting older would kind of change that. 2-3 years ago, a cousin of mine got married. Him and his wife were super happy to see my brother and my mom and everybody else. And then they saw me and they were just like, oh, hi, how's it going? And then they just went back to talking to my brother. And I went, well, you asked me a question, but I guess I won't answer it because you're not paying attention anymore. So that was kind of a one issue growing up, just having that sort of negligent, I guess, family. And it wasn't just like extended family, like cousins and aunts and stuff. My mom and my brother kind of did it too. My mom would never ask me, "How was your day?" My brother would always pick on me, and then my mom would take his side. Which, I mean, she would tell him to stop picking on me, but then she'd say, "Why don't you just play with your brother?" "I don't want to. I'm going to play Barbies. Leave me alone." But there was that. There's also the fact that I never had friends growing up. Never is pretty intense. I had one friend from kindergarten all the way up to grade 4 about. I failed grade 4. Then my best friend, who had been my best friend for like 6 years, decided she was too cool for me. I also think me getting lice kind of got in the way of that, because her mom said you can't hang out with her anymore. So, having one best friend for the first 6 years of my life, where it's really important to make friends and to communicate with other people, because that's how you develop those skills. I never had that. I had kids picking on me. I had nobody really approaching me to try and be my friend or try and, tell me, "Hey, it's okay." Even teachers kind of ignored me. I was that one kid that nobody seemed to like at all. And that sort of made me into a very insecure and jealous little kid. So when my best friend started hanging out with other people, I got very upset. And I got very hurt. So I stopped talking to her for a while. And I think that's sort of also what pushed her towards the other people and other friends and away from me. But I mean, I didn't really know what else to do. I don't know. I didn't know how to keep a friendship. I didn't know what a friendship was. I didn't know anything. So there was that. So what was my point to this? Yeah, I grew up without much social interaction, so I don't know how to make friends. I don't. So I don't have very many friends. I don't know how to talk to people, which doesn't help when you have mental issues that you need to talk about to get over them and get better. But another thing is how easy it is for me to be brought down. It's so unbelievably easy, to the point where a friend of mine actually asked me if I've considered that I might be bipolar. And, I mean, I have. I've definitely considered it. I don't really know if I am or not, because I don't really know the stipulation or word. The, I guess, specifications of it. I know that you can go from mania and then just slowly go to absolutely down and just, don't bug me. And I do that. Some people think that it's like a split thing. It really isn't. It's over a course of time. And it actually happened to me just about 20 minutes ago. I was watching a YouTuber that I recently stumbled across. I'd heard about him before, but I actually started watching his videos, and I've come to really admire this YouTuber and the message that he sends out every now and then to his fans, and he just reminds them like, "Hey, I really appreciate you guys. You guys are really cool." I mean, a lot of YouTubers do that, but it's just the way that he does it, and just the way that he seems like an all-around genuine person. I found myself really, really wanting to meet this guy and just shake his hand and show myself he's a real person. People like this exist. because I'm seriously losing faith in humanity. But I really wanted to meet this guy, to the point where I started planning a trip to LA to hopefully, run into him at VidCon next year or Comic-Con or something. But my depression kicked in, and it said, what's the point? You're probably never going to see him. If you do go, you're just going to waste your money. You're not actually going to get to see him. He's not going to be there, or he's not going to have time to talk to you. Why would he want to talk to you? And then all these negative thoughts just started. And I was in such a great mood because I'd watched one of his really funny videos, which he's got a lot of. But my mood went from like a 10. I wouldn't say 10. 10 is considered mania. Like an 8 to like a 2. I was just like, oh, well, I guess. And that's crazy. I mean, it happens to me all the time, and I hate it. I'm done with it. I don't want it to happen anymore. So when people ask me what's it like to have depression, I kind of just tell them it's a roller coaster for sure, especially with anxiety. Anxiety just gives you random turns that you didn't see. You can be up one moment, and then the smallest thing will set you right down this hill. And no matter how much you try to pull yourself out of this hole, everything around you just seems to be trying to put you back in. And a lot of people say, well, it's all in how you think. It's easy to say. And I mean, I believe it. It's a product of your mentality. But if it's all you've known since you were 8, yeah, since I was 8, it's been my mentality. When it's something you've known for, 18 years? It's hard to just change it. Especially when you've only discovered about 4 years ago how absolutely dark your mind really is. So when people say, oh, well, just think positive and positive things will happen. No. I've been trying to think positive for the last few months, and it just seems bad things keep happening. My aunt was in the hospital, she died for 15 minutes, and now she doesn't really remember anything. My shoulder decided it didn't want to work anymore, so I had to take 2 weeks off work when I couldn't afford to. 2 weeks ago, my brother lost everything in a fire, took down almost half a city block with it. Twisted my ankle, had to miss more work. So, I mean, a counselor said, things are just things. They're not good, they're not bad. They're just things. It's all in how you view them. It's really difficult to see my brother losing everything in a fire as a good thing, or as just something that happened. It's also very hard to see me missing work when I can't afford to as just something that happens. It's something that's bad. It's affecting me negatively. Not just mentally, but financially as well. So it's a bad thing. I digressed, and I completely missed my point. My point is, depression is something I think people need to start talking about more. Depression, anxiety, bipolar, anything, everything. People need to talk about it more. People don't talk about it enough. And I think it's a serious enough issue that people should talk about it. Should be open with it. So I'm going to try and be open with mine. Maybe I can help someone out there be comfortable enough with theirs to talk about it to a family, a friend, a counselor, a doctor, a camera. Over the last few years, I've just seen that the YouTube community is very understanding and very amazing. So if I can get even just one person who supports me, then that'd be all that I could ask for. That'd be more than I could ever ask for. There's no guaranteeing that I'm actually going to stick to this, because my depression and my anxiety make it very difficult for me to actually stick to things. Also, it does feel a bit silly to be talking to a camera when there's other people around. But yeah, this is me. These are my stories. These are just going to be discussions about what it's like, how I'm feeling, how I know I shouldn't be feeling, but I still feel that way. And if, I can help just one person not feel so alone, or not feel so ashamed of how they feel or what they're going through, then that's more than I could ever hope for. If I can help just one person, then that's awesome. Anyways, see you next time.